Okay, I think we are recording, if I'm correct. Yes, we are. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't sound like shit. Um, hello. I want to talk about the movie Sound of Freedom because it has had a lot of controversy, and I think somewhat justifyingly, and somewhat not. Um, So people talk about this film as like a QAnon adjacent film, and I kind of agree and kind of don't. Um, I think the marketing for this film has been completely despicable. Uh, the way this film, I don't know if anybody's seen the in credit scene. They took it out for the Amazon release and like DVD and Blu-ray releases. But in that scene, it's Jim Caviezel who plays Tim Ballard in the film. Um, it's him explaining how this film is spreading awareness for something and is you know is the cause that you should support. You should buy tickets to this movie because of the subject matter. And he talks about it as if this movie is donating in some way to prevent child trafficking, but that does not seem to be the case. I found no information that corroborates that. Um, and he says, if your friends can't afford tickets, or even if they're not gonna see the movie, buy them a ticket. Which I mean, like it's so obvious that it's just like a marketing thing. Like whoever the production team is for this team, Angel Studios or whatever, obviously don't really care about the subject matter. Um, because they're doing these marketing ploys that are so blatantly like fraudulent and scam like, if not just straight up scams. It's kind of unacceptable in my opinion. But I mean, okay, let's talk about just the film because I mean, there's enough controversy with the QAnon thing. Well, actually, let me state one last thing. So in the film, a lot of people have said that this film has no connection to QAnon, has no is not pushing forward the QAnon agenda or conspiracy theories that QAnon has pushed forward. I agree somewhat and I disagree. For example, the first pedophile we see in the film is so blatantly meant to be Jewish. I mean, his name is Oshinsky, and he looks like stereotypically Jewish, and it's like, oh no. When I got to that scene, I was just like, oh no, it is really QAnon here. It's like so on the nose, pun not intended. Um, that it's really weird when you see it because you're like, I mean, I was expecting it when I was going into the film, but the way it's done, it's just like, why did they have to do that? Like, Like you're trying to you get rid of these ideas that your film is connected to QAnon anyway, and then you blatantly have like a Jewish character that looks like stereotypically Jewish. like like the only thing that like would make him look any more Jewish is having him like spin a dreidel and be lighting a menorah. Like literally to that level. It's kind of insane. But honestly, the film doesn't do too much with those conspiracy theories later. Um, but it's such a poorly made film. Like, I mean, it's not like the worst of the worst type thing. But I mean, for example, Jim Caviezel, in my opinion, is awful in this film. Um, he has the weirdest facial expressions. I mean, he looks constipated half the time, and then he'll do these weird, creepy smiles, and it's like, yeah, throughout the film, he's like pretending to be a pedophile or whatever, but like it's so like he made me more uncomfortable than any of the pedophile characters in this film, like easily. Like he's the performance is so weird. It's so weird. I mean, like, what was he trying to do? And I think the casting here is like so on the nose too. I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware, but um, Jim Caviezel starred in the film Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson, where he literally plays Jesus Christ. And the way in which this film makes Tim Ballard, this real life person, out to be is so brown nosy and um it's almost like a puff piece where they're trying to like overly pat this guy in the back. And it's like I don't know how good of a guy this guy is. He might be a great guy. Who knows? But like in this biopic style piece, just making this character out to be like a perfect individual is such a weird choice. Like I mean there's literally a shot where after he like saves this child, there's like a POV shot from the child where like the lighting on Jim Caviezel, like there's a ton of backlight, a ton of front light, and it's like an outside scene. So like there shouldn't the you could have just gone with like natural lighting and it would have looked fine, you know? But instead they went with this weird like artificial light when like none of the other shots in that sequence or that scene have it, and it almost looks like one of those like Russian icon paintings of Jesus when when you see Jim Caviezel outside of this van that he just saved this kid from. I mean, it's so weird. And then like whenever Jim Caviezel or Tim Ballard, I guess, in the film, um, is like with his family, like all those shots look so weird. I mean, they're like the rest of the film is like fairly darkly lit, fairly like natural lit. And whenever he's with his family, it's like so overproduced looking. Like there's way too much light. It's not overexposed, but it's just like it just looks so weird in comparison to the rest of the film. And it's like what are you trying to do here? Like what is the choice here? another one of my issues with this film is definitely the sound design. Like it is really egregious at points. I mean, for example, there is a little girl in this film who's like one of the kids that Jim Caviezel is trying to save, and when she sings, like you've heard her normal voice, and she sounds like a little girl, right? But when she sings, she is so overly auto-tuned, and her voice, and it's obvious like the voice isn't even the little girl's. Like they didn't. It's not like they auto-tuned the girl's voice. They auto-tuned somebody else's voice to sing whenever she sings, and like the lips don't match up, and it looks weird and it sounds weird, and like you would think that sound would be so important for this film that's literally called Sound of Freedom. But the sound is one of the biggest issues that I had with it. I mean, for example, the mixing whenever Jim Caviezel's in a scene. I mean, this adds to them trying to make him Jesus in this movie. I mean, whenever Jim Caviezel talks, it's like the bass is turned way up on his voice, and like when most people talk in this movie, it's coming through the center channel, right? So you hear their voice clearly. It's obvious what they're saying. And like you still hear the background stuff because that's how you mix voices for the most part. Unless you're like trying to do the voice of God, which I think they pretty much were with Jim Caviezel, cuz they mixed him. He's in the center channel, but then he's also coming through my sub, and he's coming through the left and right channel. So he's like all around me whenever he speaks. And it's not like, oh, the other characters in the room are having the same thing with their voice. No, it's just him. It's really weird. It's really weird. It reminds me of uh Bane in the Dark Knight Rises film, the way Christopher Nolan mixed him. And like that sounded fine in theaters, but like at at home it sounds terrible. And this sounds terrible. Whenever Jim Caviezel talks, it sounds terrible. It's like awful. It's really weird choice. Also, the use of music here is just so weird. Like the tone of this film, the tone they were going for is this dark, gritty, depressing film, and then they'll play like Spanish pop songs in the background, but like loud. Like it's supposed to be in the background, but it's like but you paid for the licensing for the song. You wanna have it out there, So they play it loud, even though it's in the background. It like weird choices. Um, I honestly found this film to be kind of hilarious at points. Like it's supposed to be this serious subject matter and all that, but damn it, like Jim Caviezel's performance, the audio issues, how bad the cinematography looks at times, um, just like weird choices, and like honestly, the whole backstory behind this film and like its marketing and all those things just make it so much funnier for me. And like I'm not laughing about, you know, pedophiles and child trafficking. That's obviously not funny, but the way this film is put together and like everything behind it is such a weird piece that I honestly just was so confused half the time while watching this. I mean, like what were they trying to do? Like what was the goal here? And the craziest thing for me, the thing that annoys me the most is the fact that a lot of like YouTube critics and like people on like TV and stuff that are defending this film aren't defending like the filmmaking, or when they do defend it, they're like, this is one of the greatest films of all time. Like, no, it's not. Sorry. Like, you know what? I would have given this film a 10 if it deserved a 10. But I gave this film a 3 out of 10. I think it's too much of a mess to go any higher than that. Um, I actually enjoyed it, weirdly enough, like in kind of a weird, ironic way, kind of similar to how I enjoyed like a film like The Flash from this last year, where it's just a mess, but like it's an kind of hilarious how bad it is at times. But wow, I mean, like it's really infuriating that like for whatever reason, a lot of these people that are like pushing forward um, freedom of speech and all these things are like coming out and saying like, if you don't like this movie, you're a pedophile or you support child trafficking. That is insane. That is insane. And like the whole idea around this film is that people are trying to stop you from seeing that, and they literally have said that in the marketing, which I mean, it's just a blatant lie. I mean, like when people give evidence for like this film, them trying to stop this film from coming out, um, like the evidence they use is like, well, Fox News interviews that don't have anything that says that. Only the people on the Fox News are saying it. But the people that they clip from MSNBC or CNN or whatever say nothing about trying to ban this movie. I don't think anybody's trying to ban this movie. I don't think anybody cares enough to ban this movie, to be honest. I really don't think it's worth it. Um, and honestly, if people were trying to ban this movie, I would come out against that. But that's not the case. I mean, and the other evidence that's used is the fact that Disney and Amazon didn't want to like put this on their streaming services when Angel Studios tried to sell it to them. But like, I mean, okay, how is that banning the movie? Like they just chose not to give you money in order to put your movie on their platform. Like why would they give you money if they don't like your film? It's just a business thing. And I hate Disney as much as the next person, but like what do you want Disney to do? Just give you money? Just give you free money? Cuz yeah, because we don't want to ban your film. We support um your film, but we don't want to give you money. Like here's money, and then we'll put your thing on the streaming service. Like, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to make a business decision, or do you want them to just pat you on the back for making a film? Like I bet you, if I tried to sell any of my films to Disney that I've made, all like student level films, um, I bet you they would shove them back in my face and say, "Why would we want to buy that?" I mean, same thing here. Like, why would they want to buy your thing? But yeah, okay. I'm done talking about this. It's annoying. Um uh yeah, I guess I don't know. Follow me on Letterboxd, James Hart. Hit me up. Um yeah, I don't know. Bye.